Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Interview Experiences with the Vair community members. Today we have a shining star, which is Miss Smriti Jha, and she has already cracked two very good interview calls. Well, it's not only about the interview calls, but it is about the vision she has for the healthcare industry. She believes in transforming the healthcare industry, being from the healthcare background already, being a physiotherapy student, and having worked in the industry so closely with some of the great industry leaders, being there on different platforms, representing her work in a detailed manner, that she wants to bridge the gap that exists at the moment in the Indian healthcare system, which is why she plans on going for the healthcare management course. And yes, so welcome on board, Smriti. How have you been?
Thank you very much, ma'am. It's a pleasure talking to you after attending all the SMT selection mastery training and all the classes that I've spent with you. It is a pleasure to be here.
I'm so glad. The pleasure is all mine. So, for all our viewers, let me tell you that Smriti had two calls. She had basically applied for two institutes. One is the Nasimunji Institute of Sciences, and the other one was the KJ Somaiya Institute. And she had applied for, in both the cases, for the healthcare section. And now that she has very rightfully and very deservingly converted both the calls, we are here to know everything about her interview experience. So, congratulations, Smriti, firstly, on getting 100% result, because these are the two institutes you targeted, these are the two institutes you got a call from, and these are the two institutes you got selected in. So,
Thank you.
Smriti, tell us, like, how was the experience at both these institutes? Should we start with NM?
Definitely, ma'am. Sure.
Great, let's go ahead.
So the entire experience, I can conclude in a phrase that it was a roller coaster ride. It had ups and it had downs, but ultimately the result was what I was waiting for. So ultimately, I'm very happy with the result. Starting with the NM journey, so I had filled up the application form for NMIMS. Before that, I remember we were asked to make a goal card during the classes, during the interactions, and I had made a clear goal card of getting into NMIMS. Priti Jha, I'll be getting into NMIMS for healthcare management in so and so year. And that came true. I was just going through what I had written, all those takeaway messages from the selection mastery training, the hackathons, and the inner circle calls from Vair community. And I reminisced the fact that I had already written it, and that is into picture right now. So I'm very happy with respect to that. So I filled up the application form wherein I had to fill in all the necessary details with respect to my personal details, my work experience, if I had any after my bachelor's program, my academic details, which included my 10th standard credentials, the 12th board credentials, as well as the graduation credentials. I had
Great.
to briefly write a detailed application form which was mentioned towards the end of the application process. There, certain questions were asked where I see myself in the next 10 years, what am I interested towards, why MBA, what am I inclined towards, all those details had to be mentioned. After the application
Great.
form was sent, I received a mail regarding the further details of how am I supposed to proceed. Uh, the interview and the test, the competency test was held at the venue itself, the center, NMIMS Vile Parle campus, which is in Mumbai. So I had reached the center. All of us were sitting
But you
in
are
the.
based out of Mumbai, right?
Yes, ma'am, I'm based
Yeah.
out of.
So you must have chosen the Mumbai center.
Exactly,
Great.
exactly. So I reached the center. There were multiple aspirants sitting there, everybody with the hope of how will it go exactly. I could find some people from Vair community as well, and that made me really happy. We had a good interaction there. Since I
Great.
knew them from the community, it was so good to see them. Ki finally, I am with people who I was already connected with. So
Great.
that crisp interaction with them was in turn very, very important, very boosting. I could soothe myself. I could bring in the comfort that was necessary for having a conversation with the panel. So it indeed played a vital role in interacting upar se. There was no detailed interaction of what the questions would be or what will happen after the interview
So
or the.
basically, it was an ice-breaking session. It was good to
Yes, ma'am.
see each other out of these windows, and
Exactly.
it was like motivating, more from the motivating aspect than for like our preparation kaise kare. So
Right.
that's so nice to hear. That's really nice.
So we were sitting there. Indeed, we have a conversation about it. Then we were sent in groups of 10 to 12 students we were given a batch letter that this batch is A, this batch is B, in chronological order. I guess in my batch, we had 10 to 12 students who were marched into this computer lab where we had a competency test. So the competency test had 20 questions and the duration of the test was 45 minutes. The entire test was divided into three sections. The first one was verbal ability, then we had mental ability, and the last one was managerial ability. The questions were pretty nice. Like after preparing for CAT and NMAT, it was a cakewalk. It was really nice to
Yeah.
go through the competency test. And the
That's
managerial,
what you people are saying right now. Before the competency test, all of you were like, ma'am, what is it going to be about? How are you going
yeah,
to answer? What should we prepare for? And after
exactly.
the competency test, most of you are like, ma'am, it was a cakewalk.
Exactly. Very well put,
Great.
ma'am. That was exactly the scenario. Before NMAT and before appearing for CAT, we were very tense in every SMT sessions. I remember a lot of us bothering you, ma'am, kaise hoga? We don't know the pattern. We don't know what is going to happen. But then after you made us prepare in a very detailed manner for both of these examinations, the test was pretty much good. We were very happy at the end of the
So we
test.
were like ready for the, so like I always say that be prepared for the worst, but hope for the best. So
Right.
you people, like I remember that I had done every type of question and every kind of thing that I had predicted that might come as a part.
Absolutely.
So, and gladly it was like in alignment what exactly happened. So I'm so glad
Very
that
much.
all of you, no one came out saying that competency test nahi hua, competency test ke chalte NM reh gaya.
Right.
Everyone's like, yeah, nahi, ho gaya NM. Competency test ke chalte problem nahi thi. So I'm so glad that
Exactly.
a surprise was not a surprise for you all.
Exactly, ma'am. You made us so acclimatized to that environment कि कुछ भी आएगा, we have to face that. So the level of questions which you made us prepare for was here, and the competency test was very much under that spectrum. So it was very
So glad
nice
to
to
know.
appear for the exam. So after the competency test, after attending 20 questions, there indeed was negative marking in that. So we had to attempt what we were sure about, and then everybody had their own strategies. We could follow what we were taught at Vair by you and by you, sir. After the competency test was done, we were again sent back to the classroom where we were initially sitting. And then again, in the batches of 2 to 3 people, we were asked to march towards a particular room. We had multiple rooms in which the interview was conducted simultaneously. So we could see like 3 to 4 people outside waiting outside the interview room. What was surprising was we had an artificial intelligence based interview in NM before we could face the panel. So after when it was my turn, I entered the room where I had a laptop open in front of me where the questions were very much initially inclined towards what I had mentioned in my detailed application form in the SOP. So I remember the questions were after such academic journey of yours, why would you consider yourself inclined towards the management sector instead of physiotherapy become being a very blooming
Yeah.
sector in the current market? So I remember that, you had asked me in the mock interview, and I was very glad that you had asked me in the mock interview. I was very much prepared for that question. I had mentioned every particular term, whatever I felt within, I had resonated that. The AI was very tricky with respect to if we mention any complicated word or any detail that could,
Yeah, good.
yes. So that was the next question. The AI would pick up certain words and basically answer, and then from the next question, what we had to answer. So I guess
Which
my
is why
entire,
you people were told not to use jargons and use a simple language, as simple as it can be, whether AI is in play or not.
exactly, exactly. We were very much ready with respect to what you had taught us. So I was initially asked that why I had gone ahead with the MBA instead of my MPT for masters for my further studies. I answered that. I was also asked a lot of technical questions. I was asked to expand what is ABPMJ if I knew about it. I was very well versed with Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan
Yeah.
Arogya Yojana. I explained all the details with what was ready with me. The next question was, where do I see myself in the next 10 years? And why healthcare sector? Why not any other sector? Why am I inclined towards? My answer was very clear with respect to my previous background, my interest towards the healthcare sector. What am I planning to do? That was asked. The next jump in was with respect to the panel. After the AI was done asking questions, the panelists were very
Right.
clearly listening to what my answers were. And the panel also picked up certain words, certain phrases from my answer and formed their own question. I was surprised to see that a lot of technical questions with respect to the healthcare management part was asked from the panel to me. I was given scenarios in which I had to explain what would I do next, what would I not do, and why. So
Situation based questions.
exactly, ma'am. So one of the questions that I was asked initially was if a rural hospital is facing a significant increase in patient load due to a health initiative by the government. So the hospital lacks sufficient resources, both in terms of medical resources as well as the equipment. So as a healthcare manager, how would you basically uh, resolve this issue? What resource allocation would you prefer and why? So this was the first question that I was asked from the panel. I elaborated my answer. I kept my answer very concise and crisp so that I don't get into the detail of one particular situation, so that the panel gets to ask me multiple situations which I was prepared
Right.
for. So I was
So
given a
the
scenario.
follow-up questions are lesser, as told to you all that you direct your interview.
Exactly, ma'am. So the first problem solution analysis, that was situation analysis, that was given was
Right.
with respect to rural environment. Then I was also asked if I worked in a tertiary healthcare setting and I'm facing a crisis, multiple crises at the given situation with respect to a code blue, a code pink, and a patient missing. So what
Yeah.
would I attend first and why? Where would I practically be and where would I send my team and why? So this was
Interesting
something where I took
situations.
right, ma'am. So I was
I
asked to
mean,
take
you had a lot of fun answering this also, I believe, because I see that you're very, very passionate towards the healthcare industry. And I think, after the AI had done its initial work of asking you questions based on your vision, on what you know about the healthcare industry, they wanted to see how good, you are with handling situations at hand. Plus, how much of it are you enjoying, or are you like getting bogged down by the entire process that मुझे ये भी आंसर करना पड़ा है मुझे वो भी आंसर करना पड़ा है but from what I see even now you have that sparkle in your eyes that I was asked these questions. It was so much fun answering this. So that's what interview spirit is about, making it about a two-way conversation, establishing and finding out so much about yourself over there. So I
right.
can see that on your face, like you thoroughly enjoyed your interview.
I definitely did enjoy, ma'am. Just because we had acclimatized to this setting previously. If I had not prepared for the interview before my examination or simultaneously with my aptitude, I would have not been this confident enough to jump into the situation or consider it to be a question where I need to interact. I would have taken that as a question that is bombarding my intellect. But since you had made us very acclimatized to a situation that the interaction is supposed to happen instead of them asking and me answering like a robot. So that helped a lot.
This is a very interesting point which you brought up, Smriti, that preparation with your aptitude and simultaneously and even post your exams, that is a time period that you've actually utilized completely to your benefit. A lot of people, a lot of aspirants think that एक बार CAT clear हो जाए, एक बार NMAT clear हो जाए, फिर मैं interview के लिए prepare करूंगा. But the kind of review you are giving about your experience, it's been only possible because you had to transform, and that transformation cannot happen in a few days, in 20, 30, 40 days. It has to happen over a period of time, and you truly dedicatedly studied and put in all your efforts, and that is why it's showing so effortlessly on your part. But I know as a matter of fact that how much effort you've been putting. I'm being there on the groups, seeing that you're sending in your doubts, your assignments even late at night. So that is a dedication that one also needs from your side. So great going. I'm so happy to hear about your experience.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
All right. So can other questions that NM panelists covered, or can we move on to the KJ interview?
I remember one of the questions where I took a minute to actually register, recall what I had
Okay.
learned,
Okay.
and then answer it. I was actually asked to take a minute. So I
Yeah.
was under the contemplation, under the dilemma that should I answer just immediately, that would that fetch more points or more marks, or should I take a minute which was given to me? I would think about it, frame my answer, and then deliver it. So the examiner, the panelist made it very much comfortable. I was thinking, and he just mentioned it right then and there. He's Smriti, I have given you a minute. You are supposed to take a minute to think about it. In spite of you knowing the answer, Just frame it in a way which you would like to deliver and then deliver.
I think this is something that you probably missed out in the sessions, but I always say when you're given a minute, always take a minute, wait
Right,
for the panelists to ask you, are you done? And
right,
then you answer rather
right,
than saying, okay, I'm done, I'm ready.
right,
So let them say that to you. So in case you missed out, I'm just clarifying it for you, for your future interviews,
definitely.
and for our viewers here.
Right, ma'am. So I was asked about the health insurance, health policies, or basically any program which was initiated by the US government, which can also align with a scheme that has been put forward by the Indian government, where we can walk parallelly with respect to how our healthcare system is organized or runs, with respect to US and India coming into picture. So I could recall about HIPAA, which is the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. I
Yes,
could correlate it with the DISHA Act, which is the Digital Information in the Healthcare, which is put forward by the Indian government. I
right.
mentioned one key point about HIPAA and one key point about DISHA, and he was very surprised, the panelist, that how are you aware of the global situation,
HIPAA,
basically.
yes.
Exactly. So I was very happy that this particular question made me feel कि हाँ preparation तो important था, वो कहीं ना
But
कहीं.
I think these UK US healthcare was covered in the GK sessions as well.
Yes ma'am,
So
it
that
was
is
very
why you
beautiful.
had an idea about the US healthcare because we made it a point that you are also prepared on the technical questions with
Correct.
the US healthcare because it's
Right,
very important to know about the UK US healthcare when you are especially and comparison based questions were told to you that they might
right,
come. So be prepared
right,
on that note.
right,
Okay.
right
So I'm
ma'am.
glad the GK classes were also like,
Absolutely.
working for all of you. Great.
So this was one of the questions where I was really happy कि हाँ preparation
Ah,
जरूरत है. It is very much essential to prepare for the aptitude, simultaneously prepare for the personal interview. It is not that, as you mentioned in the previous discussion, कि बहुत लोग सोचते हैं. Even I was one of the students who thought before joining Vair that I have to prepare for the interview 1 or 2 weeks after I receive my call letter or after I'm assured
yeah.
that I'm done with my aptitude. But this perception changed when you constantly fed that into our brains. Ki nahi, it is not the way you are thinking. You are supposed to prepare for the interview simultaneously with respect to the aptitude as well, because uske baad you won't get to know yourself. एक ड्राफ्ट में कुछ नहीं होने वाला. We have to know ourselves before we finally draft the final SOP or DAF that we are supposed to submit. And that reflects very much resonates with us. पहले initial 5 drafts में तो even I did not know what am I writing. After I got the
Right.
10th draft checked from you, and then I somehow realized कि अच्छा, this is where am I putting my efforts, this is what am I interested or inclined towards. So that is very
I would feel like, that so if you watch the movie Devil Wears Prada, so
right,
Meryl Streep's role, ये नहीं चलेगा, this will not work. I want a better one. I would feel like I'm the devil. So then
right,
I'm like,
right,
no, I have to be
absolutely.
the devil in disguise so that these people just bring out the best.
It was very essential, ma'am. Thank you for you being the way you made us.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad. All right, so I think you've shared it in a lot of detail, and it will certainly help the future aspirants. And let's move on to KJ Sumaya's interview. So tell us all about it.
Sure, ma'am. So, KJ Somaiya Institute of Management, I appeared for the written ability test. The change that was brought in this year was we did not have a GD, that is group discussion. We had a PSA, that is problem solution analysis.
Right.
Before the personal interview we were called for the personal interview. So all of these exams and processes was held in the campus itself. In the application form, I was asked to choose the campus. I chose the Mumbai campus, which is in Vidya Vihar, Mumbai itself. So I had traveled to the campus where initially we were made to sit in a room. The parents' waiting room was separate if the parents were along with the student. Therein, we had volunteers from the college itself, KJSIM. They had a dress code. They were there for you, whatever doubts we have had, where to sit from
Right.
what. So that was all preset. That was very essential. I found it very.
Management school managing things well.
Exactly, ma'am. Exactly.
Great.
So that was very beautifully managed. We were sitting in a room. After that, we were taken to the auditorium in the same campus, where we were shown a small video of how the campus operates, what are the highlights of the campus, what is KJSIM all about.
Right.
Then they called alumni. I remember from various sectors. We had alumni from the healthcare sector, from the marketing sector, from the operations sector. Every MBA aspect, there were 2 to 3
Beautiful.
alumni
So the
who had to.
orientation was really detailed.
Yes, ma'am. Very detailed orientation was held in the auditorium itself. After that was done, we were told that we had to appear for the VAT, that is the
Right.
written ability test. And the topic given to us was, do you think mental health care rules and regulations in India suffice? If yes, how? And if not, what can be done? We were given a page to write
Right.
both the sides.
Right.
I guess we were not allowed to take any extra sheet or supplement. We had to finish within the
But there was
desired.
no word limit given. You were given a piece of paper and you
Yes,
had to handwrite so that both the sides were full.
absolutely. We were
Okay.
also asked that it should be within 350 to 300 words.
Okay, so word limit was
Word
given.
limit was there.
Minimum of 300, maximum of 350.
350, correct.
Also, Smriti, if you could just clarify how much time was given to you?
I guess we were given 20 minutes altogether, and
20
there was
minutes.
no separation between if I'm a healthcare aspirant or I'm a core MBA aspirant. The topic, the
Ah,
written ability test was same for everybody. The entire process of shortlisting the students was same for healthcare as well as the core aspirants. So all the aspirants were
great.
made to sit in the auditorium. All together, we had to write the written ability test. There were no separate classrooms for
Which
that.
is why I focus so much in the class that healthcare wala topic sun ke bhago mat. Do
Correct.
the general students should know healthcare topics. Healthcare students should know general topics.
Absolutely.
This is why I focus so much on this angle. I'm so glad that you people took it seriously and it helped ultimately. I mean,
We are glad that you made us prepare for all of that beforehand. So
yeah,
we were acclimatized to both the healthcare as well as the generic topics
right,
that could
right,
have been asked. So after
great.
the 20 minutes were up, we were not given even 1 second extra. I remember some of the
Mhm.
students were writing, they couldn't fill the last 3 to 4 lines. They were asking for extra time, but the rules were very strict that they had 4 to 5
Of course.
volunteers to collect from each row. So ऐसा नहीं है कि पहले से शुरू हुआ तो we had to give our papers first and then
Uh,
people who were sitting behind got to buy some extra time. That was not the case. The papers were collected on time. Everybody, it was very fair. So we
great.
did not have any complaints with respect to that.
And
After
your experience with the WAT, how was it?
It was very good, ma'am. Indeed, I had read about the Mental Health Care Act, which was passed in 2017, all the updates with respect to that, all the necessary voids that need to be filled.
Hmm.
The good part about the Healthcare Act, Mental Health Act, with respect to India and the global situation of it,
Great.
I addressed it from a global to a local level that you had mentioned. कि कभी भी global से local की तरह बात करो. So that I had done. That structure
Great.
I had followed while writing the written ability test. So it was
Very
very
good.
happy at the end of the test कि जितना
Great.
आया उतना लिखा.
अब
uh,
पीआई के बारे में बताओ स्मृति.
Sure, ma'am. So after the VAT, we were taken back to the room where we were seated. Again, in the groups of, I guess, 5 to 6 students, we were made to march towards the rooms where person interview was held. I was
Mhm.
waiting outside my room, I guess. The time was not very constant with respect to each candidate. It was variable कि किससे क्या पूछा गया है, किसी को 10 मिनट में बाहर आना पड़ रहा है. Some people are taking 15 to 20 minutes. I remember the max time taken was half an hour, 2 to 3 students before me. So it all depends on the candidate, it all depends on the panel and how the interaction goes. So that was the time constraint. And when it was my turn, I marched into the room. I was seated. I had 3 panelists opposite to me. They made me feel comfortable. कि आराम से बैठ जाओ, we'll start whenever you are ready. So that made me feel very comfortable कि हाँ ठीक है. They are very much considerate towards
Yeah.
if the candidate is comfortable or not.
Right.
After that, I had to. There were multiple chits kept in front of me. I had to pick up one and read the case that was given to me, and that entirety that was the
Hmm.
PSA round, the problem solution analysis.
Okay. Okay.
So there were 3 to 4 lines given in my case where
Hmm.
I read it out loud, and there were 3 to 4 questions below that which I had to address after reading the case.
So this
I,
had to be done verbally, the
yes,
PSA.
ma'am, verbally. I was given exactly 2 minutes of time to read the case, to comprehend it, to frame my answer, and then deliver. So I took the entire 2 minutes. As you had mentioned, कि जब तक panelists ना बोले, do not start. I bought that time. I waited for them to ask me कि if you're ready, we can start. I answered yes. I addressed the case initially कि this is the case given to me. This is the first question, and this is going to be my answer. The case, as far as I can recall, was based on uh, the migration of a lot rural population towards the metro cities is causing a lot of overcrowding, overpopulation in the metro cities. How that can be resolved, if you are in a position, if I am in a position to make policies with respect to people moving towards the urban cities for finding new jobs, what policies I would make into consideration and what policies I would eliminate, how would that be beneficial with respect to the healthcare sector. This was not mentioned in the chat, but then the panelists brought the healthcare system into picture
Okay.
because
Okay.
they asked me initially that, are
Mm-hmm.
you more inclined towards the healthcare sector, which I mentioned in the form I was. So they had an idea about me preferring the healthcare sector over any other sector. So they
Great.
brought in their own element कि ये same scenario अगर तुम healthcare sector पे की towards incline करो, what would be your answer then?
Okay.
So that is how my interview started. I remember a lot of personal questions were asked in the Somaiya interview as compared to the NM interview. In the NM interview, it was more of situation-based analysis.
Right.
I guess I was given 6 to 7 situations of minimum where I had answered in NM. But when it came to the KJ interview, I was asked, I remember one question where I took about 15 seconds. Ki, whom would you prefer, your family or your profession, if you are made the CEO of a certain company and both require equal attention, equal amount of brainstorming in a given situation, what would you choose? Initially, my answer revolved around I would choose both, prioritize both, I would manage both in so
You were
and so
playing
way.
neutral.
Exactly.
That doesn't work.
Exactly. So the panel made it very clear that if you are at the crossroads of that, you have to choose only one. What would you choose?
Hmm.
So I had to make a decision on that, and then I answered. Surprisingly, the panelists, all the three panelists were very happy with my answer, and then they mentioned it was. We were very glad that you had put in very clearly, is why would I prefer family or why would I prefer my work, and the reasoning that I had given. So that brought in some more confidence कि नहीं, the panelist is happy. इसके
Yeah.
beyond, I can be myself. I can answer the questions according to me.
But let me tell you, not everyone gets this relief in the middle of the interview. So, I mean, if you are saying that something like this happened, that means you were surely able to create a very good impression on the panelists. So,
Right.
great going, Smriti.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. This was asked. I remember a lot of questions were also revolving around what are my hobbies and why.
Hmm.
Again, the same question that was asked in NM, ki why would I not go ahead with masters in
Right.
physiotherapy and why
Right.
would I choose management?
Right.
That was the question. About my hobbies, what would I do in my free time? Even if I was a very busy person, a very busy manager working in a corporate sector, how would I take out some time to
For your hobby,
basically for
to
my
pursue your
hobbies?
hobby.
Exactly.
Great.
This was
So,
asked. They also asked me if it was essential to basically carry forward your hobbies in spite of being very busy professional.
hmm,
That was also a very tricky answer, but then they were happy with my answer.
great, great. I mean, you've shared it a lot in detail. And Smriti, what you can do is you can share the questions in the text format and we'll put it down in the caption so that
Sure.
you said you spoke about one situation, but you said any interview had several situations to address. And even if there are any other questions that you want to recall later, you can definitely share it. Just, mention what was asked in the NM interview and what was asked in the KJ interview. And I'll obviously make sure that the team mentions it in the caption.
Sure.
Smriti, since you were successfully cracked both the interviews, your interview experience was great. Like you did not feel at one moment also that made our preparation better ho sakta tha. You were very satisfied with it. So
Yes.
quickly tell us top three strategies from you for the future aspirants.
Sure, ma'am. So regularly attending the hackathons, regularly attending the inner circle calls, I used to make notes of everything that I would like to implement in my preparation strategy.
Yes.
So there were more than three aspects that I would have highlighted. But then, since I have to make it very concise, the first thing that you had mentioned, कि why should be more important than how. How तुमको समझ में आ जाएगा, क्यों करना है, why. When you are able to answer that question, the clarity that you are going to get will bring in more confidence, will guide you how to move forward exactly.
Absolutely.
Proximity is power is something that I believe in. The entire community, in spite of this being a virtual community, none of us have met in person, but then the vibe that already exists in the community, the healthy competition, the support wala vibe ki tujhe nahi pata hai, I'll let you basically know what my perspective is. You making us talk about our small victories and experiences in the Sunday selection mastery training, where we got to learn from each other a lot. So the proximity, so basically existing in the proximity of such a wonderful community and equally competent students is very essential. uh, since proximity
Great.
is power, as it is well said, ki you try to behave or you eventually become the person you are surrounded with, 4 to 5 people.
Yes.
That really plays a vital role when you are undergoing your preparation. Surrender to your mentors is something that I really believe in. So, you, Mayur sir, Yukta ma'am, everybody basically were readily available whenever we had a crisis. Ki ma'am, नींद नहीं आ रही है से लेके ma'am, how do we draft our first SOP or DAF?
Yes.
So, be it midnight, I used to text ki, ma'am, this is something that I've written. Can you please look into it? And I remember you, in spite of being so busy, used to respond ki, Smriti, when do you need it? And immediately responded ki, ye correction necessary hai. So that brought in more confidence. So proximity is far, surrender to your mentors is something that I've learned. uh, I definitely was initially very anxious with respect to my career कि अभी ये बहुत बड़ा shift होने वाला है from being a healthcare student, from being a physiotherapy student to entirely changing the trajectory towards management. But then this overwhelming thing happens with almost everybody. It is okay to not have it all figured out initially. Take one step at a time. Trust in your mentors. You have to carefully select your mentors ki whom under whom you want to learn. And I'm very glad, very happy, very lucky to be a part of such community under you and Mayur sir. कि I did not have to think twice about कि मैं किसके mentorship में हूँ. My ideas, my future plans are very much aligned with what you used to teach us. And that brought in more confidence, that brought in more trust towards the community and you. So basically taking one step at a time, अगर गोल क्लियर है यहीं पे पहुंचना है, आराम से प्लान करते हुए आगे बढ़ना is something very essential. एंजाइटी सबको होती है, बट व्हेन इफ यू हैव अ रफ आइडिया रेडी कि नहीं आई एम गोइंग टू प्रोसीड विद दिस even if the pace is a bit slower, you ultimately know कि this will work out for me now or sooner. So this is something
Absolutely.
that helped me a lot.
Absolutely. That's why tortoise wins the race even when the bunny is the fastest. All right.
Definitely.
Thank you. I think we have shared so much and you have shared so much. It is, I think, one of the most detailed interview experiences that I have, shot in a while. And it shows your dedication towards your passion, which is healthcare. It shows your dedication and passion towards this community and towards the vision that you uphold for your future and the future of the country and the future of the industry that you are so truly invested in. So
Thank you.
investment doesn't only happen monetarily; it happens, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. It also happens like completely surrendering, like you said. So I could see that during your journey with us, which is obviously to continue. But yes, I am hoping the best. I hope you make the best choice. I hope if there's anything else that you need, from the universe, you get that very, very soon. So
Thank
thank you
you.
so much, Smriti, for being here, for generously devoting your time to us and helping all the future aspirants. Thank you so much. More power to each one of you. Thank you for
Thank
watching
you,
this.
ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for guiding. Thank you for being there every time we needed you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.